Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC is back, guys. UFC Vegas 101, Dern versus Ribas. We are returning with a banger of a card. Let's just say that. There are a couple good sneaky fights we'll talk about here that's on the main card, but we got an excellent pay-per-view card coming up next week. We'll be spoiled there. Hope everyone had a happy new year, good holiday. I was still doing the NFL videos. I did a recap 2024 review as well. Hopefully you guys did check that out. Another great year for the system. UFC, one of the bright spots this past year, every year, let's be honest. A card I won't have a ton of volume on as of right now. For clients, pay-per-view card next week, I do expect. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities. Shout out to a few new clients that came on board this past week. Nate, William, and Marcus. Appreciate you guys. And of course, my longer term clients that understand how the system works and how you beat the sports books long term. Big shout out to you guys. Podcast listeners, YouTube viewers, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on all the major platforms. Hopefully you guys are subscribed and liking the video. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Spotify and Apple, I think you can rate and review. Please do that. It does help me out a ton. Quick update here. I've been doing some work with a free play sports app. It's launching January 15th. Been doing some consulting work with them. Been running their Twitter, doing some writing articles for them as well. Very excited for this app. Basically, it's a free play app. You can go on the app, download it, make free picks, earn rewards, cash them in for free money, prizes, Bitcoin, climb the ladder, do well, cash it in for free. Free money. Can't go wrong, right? This is something you would want to play. It's something most sports bettors. But I played similar stuff in the past, like on ESPN. They used to have one. Covers used to have one as well. They still do, I do believe. But this is all in an app. Very easy to use. So I'm looking forward to working with them. We'll have more. They'll be sponsoring the videos as well and the podcast as well. So excited for that. More coming. January 15th, they're making the North American launch on the App Store. You can download it. I suggest all you guys to download it. And like I say, it's a free play. You don't have to put any money into the app. You just go on, make your pick of the day, and then you earn rewards, and you can cash them in, like I mentioned, for cash, reward, prizes, etc. So we'll know a little more when it comes out of 5th. I'll explain it more, but yeah, I'll be promoting that this coming month. In case you missed a recap video and podcast from, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, quick highlight from the UFC this week. Just a couple highlights I'll mention. The 67% pay-per-view cards, average line plus money. Was one of my highlights this year. Most proud about the average line plus money. Right, these are minus 250 winners. Yeah, if I do like two fights in a parlay, I do 2-fight parlay, put them together, get plus money. In most cases, or low minus money. 21-2 run was the best run, one of my best ever in the UFC, and 70% 2-fight parlays was also a highlight, and that's moving to almost 2 years now, guys, that percentage. And again, average line plus money. Yeah, so excellent year for myself and clients. Come join and beat the books long term, guys. I always suggest, if you're going to get on board, yeah, it's cool to, try out a week package or a month package. See if it works for you, right? See if my betting system works for you, and then purchase a long term. Because anything could happen in a week or a month, right? Most months I can be profitable, but you're going to have down months betting on sports. So long-term packages are always recommended. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Like I said, it's a weaker fight night card before the big card, right? Next week we got Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. We got Merab versus Umar. Two title shots. Very, very competitive fights, I expect, guys. These are very high-level fights that I'm really excited to talk about and just watch in general. Right? We also got some other good fights. Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Great fight there. Dariush versus Moicano. Another very high-level fight there. Holland versus De Ridder. That's the main card, which I'll break down next week for you guys. Can't wait for that one. Let's get right into this card, though. Shop around. Shop around like I always say, guys. Very important to have multiple sports books. They vary. They vary from book to book. Prices vary from book to book. Have those multiple sports books, money in multiple accounts. Let's get right into the main event here, guys. Main event, Ribas minus 188 versus Dern plus 162. The main event nobody asked for. Nobody asked for a 5-round fight. Unless, you're... You like watching some, you can say attractive ladies fight for 5 rounds, right? And this is a fight you expect to go deep into the fight or even the 5 rounds, right? A fight we saw already as well back in 2019, guys. Ribas won the fight. Both girls were very raw, just starting out in their career, right? It was Dern's 3rd fight in the UFC and Ribas' 2nd. So, I don't mind the rematch here to see, who's the better lady now. But, a main event, it's not that pleasing of a fight in my eyes. We could get a little scrappier, though. Since that fight, similar paths between these two ladies. I feel like they're very similar in their resumes and how their career kind of shaped out. Right? Different fighters, yes. But listen to this path, right? Like, when they step up in competition, they fail, right? So I have these two ladies as, mid-tier fighters in this division. Maybe Ribas slightly better due to her being the better striker, and her takedown defense has been solid. Right? Ribas steps up in fights, like Rose Namajunas, loses that fight. Right? Macy Barber loses that fight. Marina Rodriguez loses that fight. Both girls actually lost to Marina Rodriguez. And I don't put Marina Rodriguez as a top lady in this division. Just under that. Her wins are against, Pinheiro, Araujo, Janaroba, her best win. Dern, same path, similar path. Beat Janaroba, beat Nunez, Angela Hill, good win there. Veteran, right? And it's coming off a nice win over Gonez last time out. Nice little win and get her back on a start of a winning streak, hopefully, for her. Steps up to girls like Lemos, Andrade, Yan, and then lost to also Marina Rodriguez. Not at that level, just below that level. It's mainly due to her striking. Her striking and her wrestling, right? If the fight gets to the ground and it's on the ground, very good, right? We know Dern's one of the best grapplers. The question is, can she get the fight there? That's always the question with her, right? Her takedowns aren't great. Her accuracy is very low. And that's the issue with her. Her striking is improving. I'll give her that. She's tough too, very tough. Can take a shot. But continues to improve her striking. It's looking better at times, but not a pure striker, grappler, right? So you're behind that in years of other girls striking. You're behind them, right? We know Ribas wants to keep it standing. Dern wants to get down to the ground. Can she get it down to the ground? Failed her first time, 0 for 6 in takedowns in 2019. Right, Ribas has some solid takedown defense at 85%, guys. And that's why I do believe she is the rightful favorite in here, in this fight. Right, I don't believe Dern is going to be able to get this fight down to the ground. And if it's a striking battle, you have to favor Ribas, right? Right, that's going to be the question here. Can Dern get this fight where she wants it, which is in the grappling department on the ground? Right, Ribas has the volume advantage on the feet, more technical striker. Like I said, Dern's improving the striking, but just still behind, right? Behind a lot of the girls. She's able to hold her own at times in rounds, but ends up usually losing the rounds if it's a striking battle. Right? And that does scare me. Back in 2019, 0 for 6 on takedowns, guys. Right? That has to scare you. Again, improved girls, but it doesn't like Ribas didn't lose her takedown defense during that time. So it's very important here. That's something where, if you're going to bet Dern at the price, just for a price bet, sure, smaller unit, but I got to lean Ribas here. Don't love the price. Don't love the price. And, Dern, always the question, is she trying to be an influencer? I think she has 2 kids now, another kid, a couple divorces. There's a lot of things behind the scenes outside of the UFC with her as well. Now keep that in mind, right? That all plays a factor into a handicap. This fight's not going to make my client card. I mentioned at the top of the breakdown, I do believe this fight goes deep, right? Deep into the fight, or fight goes the distance. Leaning Ribas, but not going to pull the trigger on the side here. Co-main Harris plus 100 versus Ponzinibbio minus 125. This is flopping around. It was even money. Harris was favored, I believe, at one point. It's just flopping around. Ponzinibbio was getting the rightful favorite here. I do believe he should be a slight favorite. It's a tough handicap from a side standpoint. Very tough. Right, Ponzinibbio, what does he have left? Right, back-to-back losses. Commentating now for the Spanish or Portuguese, I believe. Commentating. Harris, not no spring chicken either, right? 37 now. Excellent ground game. He wants to get the fight down to the ground, right? Very good grappling, very good submission game. Ponzinibbio does have 66% takedown defense, so Harris could try to get it down there. His striking's very awkward on the feet. Does have some power if he can catch you, though. Defense is poor. Harris got KO'd by Chaos Williams last time out in the first round. He decided to stand and bang with Chaos Williams. What are you doing? Right, so there gave me a little bit of a concern of his IQ in that fight. Chaos Williams' only path is to catch you with a big shot to win the fight. That's what he is, a big power puncher. Harris left his chin out and got rocked. Right, Ponzinibbio has some power too on the feet. He'll come forward and throw big shots. So he's going to have to be careful, right? Harris's path should be to get the fight down to the ground. Some of his wins, they're lower level guys. And we were on those. I was on Harris at times in those fights as plus money. Right? I saw a pass for him, over Wells he beat good in Impa. We were all on those. Here it's tough for me to back a side here. I do really believe it's a 50-50 fight with a slight lean to Ponzinibbio. It just has me a little worried of, what does he have left here? My favorite play is probably this fight not to go the distance, right? Under 2.5 rounds. Both guys are going to try to swing. Like I said, defense is questionable from both these sides. Right? Both guys are live for submissions too. Right? Harris probably a little more. So I do believe there's multiple ways both these guys can find finishes in this fight. So I probably would have to look at the fight not to go the distance. Probably my favorite play. Side, you're flipping coins, guys. Flipping coins. Right? If you look at some of their history, let's see. Harris, he's only went to decision once out of his 5 UFC fights, guys. Ponzinibbio has shown to be so-so with his chin as well. He's been knocked out 4 times, and he has 16 KOs himself. Right? So staying away from a side here, like I said, you're flipping coins in my opinion. I play the under 2.5 round, under, or fight not to go the distance would be my favorite play in this fight. Almeida minus 275 versus Alhassan plus 225. Don't really agree with this market line here. I do believe it's a little inflated on Almeida. I get it. Alhassan 39, right? Lost 2 of his last 3 fights. Last time I was a no contest versus Brundage due to some elbows. I get, yes, Almeida should be favored in this fight. He's coming off a questionable fight versus Kopylov in the last time out. So yeah, I do slightly favor Almeida here. Alhassan does have a path, though. I don't know if he'll use it, though. Right? His resume, you got to give it to him. He's fought some tough guys. He's fought Joe Pyfer and Buckley in his last 3 fights. Right? Joe Pyfer and Buckley, guys. Buckley's a, top 5, top 3 fighter now in that division. He's not far from getting a title shot, guys. And Pyfer, we know how dangerous he could be. Right, so resume advantage clearly goes to Alhassan. Very low level wins, though, right? When he gets these wins, they're low level, right? Ribeiro, Chicarico, Nico Price, maybe his best win, right? So he's been in there with some big guys, but he doesn't have any really high level wins, in my opinion. He's looked good at times, and like that Buckley fight, that was actually a close fight, if I recall. And that's how Alhassan could have an advantage if he decides to use his strength and wrestle. He's been improving his cardio. Cardio always was an issue, right? Always tried to be a one-round guy. But he has improved his cardio. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to try to wrestle, not just look for that one-shot power, because we know Almeida, a very high-level kickboxer. That's where he's coming from, right? He's only 6-1. 2-1 in the UFC, guys, right? Very raw. So Alhassan has a ton of experience over him in the MMA world. But don't make it a kickboxing striking fight. Use your strength. Use your size. We know he comes in as a tank, Alhassan. Use some grappling and wrestling. Make it boring if you want to try to win this fight. Right? I don't think Almeida really has looked great any of his fights. Right? Ponteria last time was able to take him down. Almeida's 57% takedown defense, not great. Alhassan doesn't wrestle a ton. I know that, but he has that strength and capability of getting this fight down on the ground. Right? We know Almeida will be a better striker, more volume as well. Alhassan just used that one big shot. Hopefully he tries to catch you. Right? So if you bank on backing this big price on Alhassan at plus 225, taking a shot, smaller unit, not going to call you crazy here. Not going to call you crazy, but a lot of things are going to have to go right. You're going to have to hope he wrestles. You're going to have to hope he tries to make it ugly against the cage, uses strength and power, and Almeida doesn't catch him at some point in the fight. Lots of things you need to go perfect for Alhassan in this fight. I'm not willing to get there. Due to too many things need to go right for Alhassan. And at times they haven't in his career. Yeah, interesting fight. Could be an entertaining fight as well. Fight I don't see going the distance. And maybe also under that 2.5 rounds would be a good play here. Curtis plus 200 versus Kopylov minus 250. This is a fun one. This is a fun fight, guys. One I'm probably the most excited about, maybe the one next, but yeah, no love for Curtis in the market, right? No love in the market. He's coming off a good effort versus Brandon Allen. Good fight there. Losing a close split decision 5-round fight. Right, some beef between these two. Right, coming into this fight, apparently, Kopylov sent some training partners to Curtis's gym to spy on his training. Curtis called him out for it. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently there were some Russians in the gym, and then the Russians were training with Kopylov after, and Curtis found out. I don't know. He's at a big gym, Curtis, so if you're in Vegas, you just go and train there? Probably, right? So, I don't know. That's interesting. So we'll see if Curtis brings that up this week a little more. If this is a 3-round striking battle, right, which it should be, You see a little more tools for Kopylov on the feet, right? He's more of a kickboxer, strong kicking game, flashy with the strikes. Curtis just mainly a boxer, right? A little power on his feet. He'll come forward at times, durable, excellent takedown defense. Both these guys have excellent takedown defense. Mid-80s, right? Kopylov does at times use some of his wrestling. He's not going to be able to take Curtis down. So this fight's going to be on the feet for 3 rounds, which means it could be a very close fight. Love this fight to go over the 2.5 rounds. Most likely a decision. And just being a kickboxing, boxing style fight, who's going to land the bigger shots? Who's going to land the more volume? That's what this fight's going to come down to at the end of the day. And, Kopylov probably will land the more, eye-catching shots. Right? The bigger shots in this fight. Maybe some flashy kicks at times. When you just see Curtis landing some punches and, maybe some body shots, 0 kicks. I don't think he's ever thrown a kick. I don't remember, right? So that's where I lean Kopylov. This price is crazy. If you're going to take a shot at Curtis at plus 200, he's been there, done that, fought some of the best guys. What does he have left? How motivated he is? There's questions there, right? Definitely questions there. Plus 200, though? Hey, taking a shot, not going to call you guys crazy. He has a shot to win this fight. From a skill striking standpoint, on the feet, 3 rounds, I have to lean Kopylov as the better all-around striker. But then there's some things you look at Curtis where you can say, yeah, he could win this fight. I see where he could win this fight. He can catch Kopylov. We've seen Kopylov knocked down before. We could see, Curtis maybe putting a little more volume on him. That is possible as well with his boxing. It just, Kopylov with that kick game could use his distance as well. Good distance management in this fight. I get why he's favored here. Just the price at 250 is not accurate in my eyes. So Curtis value plus 200. Not going to call you crazy if you take a little smaller unit shot there. But yeah, I really do like this fight to go deep. 2.5 over. Fight goes the distance. Probably my favorite plays in this fight. Last fight we'll talk about, guys, and it's Bashi minus 275 versus Rodriguez plus 200. Another interesting line here. Another line I do not agree with. Last one we'll talk about here on this card. Sneaky good fight in my opinion. This could be a good fight. Rodriguez, we know Rodriguez, right? Went on that nice run, beating guys as underdog. And then he had that tough loss last time out versus Rose. He got caught in a submission. Not too sure what to take about that. You can say he fought up a veteran, right? Before he was fighting guys, more prospects, younger guys. Rose a veteran in there. Caught him in a submission, right? And we know Rodriguez struggles with the takedowns, and that could be the story of this fight. Right? We know he had that big win over Roses Jr. as an underdog. Remember that one? That was a big cash. Plus 400, plus 500 range. And he had another big win over Simon or Simon, the South African. That was a big win as well. Last time out versus Bulgarian, nice win as well. And then he shit the bed versus Rosa. Bashi, he's 13-0. He has some professional fights overseas. Making his UFC debut, though, in a tough matchup. UFC's not giving him any favors in this matchup. He has that win in Dana White Contender Series. Nice, solid submission game. He does have 5 wins by sub. Does seem like, watching tape on him, does seem like he has some very good wrestling as well. Good grappler. He continues to try to look for takedowns too. He won't give up. And that's why I do believe he's favored here, because Rodriguez has poor takedown defense, guys. You can take him down. Most of his fights, he's been taken down. So that's why I believe Bashi is the rightful favorite. It's just he's making his UFC debut and he's somewhat raw still, guys. So you're asking me to pay minus 275 on a guy that has promise. Yeah, he's a great prospect in my eyes. But we've seen Rodriguez beat guys in this similar position already. More UFC experience. So that's why I cannot get to Bash, even though I'm going to lean his way due to watching his tape and due to that wrestling and grappling advantage. I'm going to lean his way, hate the price. I can never bet on a guy, and this would fit into a 2-fight parlay for me, right? minus 275, minus 250. Good range for a 2-fight favorites parlay. But there's concern. I haven't seen him in the UFC before. I have to see it before I can bet large lines like this on a debut fighter. And especially against a guy like Rodriguez. If it's a different guy, maybe I can look at it a little clearer. But Rodriguez has shown me already he can win as an underdog. And he's not a tough out. Very tough fighter, right? Again, a fight I can see going over the 2.5 rounds. Fight goes the distance. This could be a close fight. But how I could see it going is, Bachi's able to get the takedowns, maybe control them, and steal rounds like that. Right, that's going to be his path here. So yeah, Bachi will be the play. Hate the price. I see his path clearly, though. And it's to out-wrestle and out-grapple Rodriguez here. It's going to be a tough fight. What a tough fight. So UFC doesn't give Rodriguez any favors. They throw him to the lions. Tough prospects, right? I think they thought they were giving Rosa as a... I thought they probably thought, oh, he could get this win here. Continue this streak. And Rosa just upset him, right? So I do believe Rodriguez was favored in that fight. I would have to look back at it, but I thought UFC maybe thought, okay, we'll give Rosa good. It would be a good win under his belt of that more veteran guy, and that didn't work out too well. But now they're giving him a killing prospect coming up, looking great, right, on the regional scene and Dana White's Contender Series. UFC's not giving these guys any favors. But excited for this fight. Couple fights I'm excited for. Not going to say it's a terrible card. Main event maybe, but there's some sneaky good fights on this card. But what we're excited about is next weekend and the pay-per-view card. Can't wait to break those fights down. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this week.